Hi, I'm Ben Cohen and welcome to the Banter YouTube channel. Before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Here we break down the big political stories, we interview fascinating people, and we go behind the headlines to give you context you're not going to get anywhere else. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about the 9/11 conspiracy machine and how clever grifters like Tucker Carlson engaged them to make serious amounts of cash. There are 3 clips of Tucker Carlson that are circulating on X at the moment, and they were taken intermittently over the past 20 years or so. In the clips, it shows Carlson's posture towards 9/11 conspiracy culture. To say that Tucker Carlson has evolved his thinking would be a grotesque understatement. In truth, his thinking, if you can call it that, has regressed, or perhaps more accurately, inverted. So, I'm going to play portions of the 3 clips and then respond to the points he makes there. The first clip was taken in the mid-2000s. We're not exactly sure when the date was, but anyway, here we go.
Figure out why liberty is so popular. He's starting to get it.
But there's an important distinction between liberty. I mean, I voted for Ron Paul in '88. I mean, I've been a Ron Paul fan a while. And this nonsense about 9/11 that morons like you keep bringing up. I mean, truly, that is just the most loathsome thing to say, I think.
Well, I don't keep bringing it up. It's not really my shtick. I was just wondering why you walked out of the convention, because it's not really my issue.
So awful.
I'm
so awful. And by the way, it totally discredits libertarianism and the ideas of Ron Paul and liberty itself. If you start accusing people of things on the basis of no evidence.
You don't think Alex Jones has brought thousands of people to the message of liberty? I know you hate Alex Jones. What would you say to Alex Jones?
I'm not gonna.
This is your chance. He watches my channel.
I don't know Alex Jones. I don't have any feelings about Alex Jones. I just think that in order to imply that there was a conspiracy behind 9/11, you ought to have some evidence. That's all.
And there's none. There's no evidence whatsoever.
And I've done a lot of shows on it. I've read a lot about it. And there are a ton of coincidences. There always are.
Get your walking with the boss. Get out of here.
Alex Jones.
Hey, he's more popular than you are.
He certainly is.
I set my alarm to wake up to
I'll tell you what, I don't want any Alex Jones people in my house at all. Would you work for Alex Jones? No. Alex Jones freaks me out. I saw Alex Jones flip out on something in a scary way.
Okay, so this is striking. That is an almost unrecognizable Tucker Carlson. First of all, he seems pretty calm, pretty sane, and he doesn't flirt with the questions, right? He treats 9/11 trutherism as contemptible. When confronted, he doesn't say that the government is always honest. He says, you don't get to accuse people of staging a mass murder without any evidence. And that turning victims into props is parasitic, right? He tells the interviewer that he's making it worse for the families and he demands actual proof. First of all, this is recognizably pre-social media and pre-Trump era norm where conspiracy claims aren't given oxygen and those spreading them without expertise or evidence are basically dismissed. So remember exactly what Tucker Carlson said during that clip. Remember how he talks about Alex Jones. He doesn't want Alex Jones coming anywhere near him, near his house, or any of his supporters. Okay, so here, we're going to play the second clip.
Have you seen Building 7 collapse, the Salomon Brothers building?
No.
I want to show you that right now.
Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself.
Describe that.
Now we go to videotape, the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the 3rd time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Moments ago was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details.
Was this after the collapse of the other two?
Yes, and she's saying it's fallen, Building 7.
by the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, much earlier today because of, of course, the dreadful collapse of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. But New York, very much a city still in chaos. The phones are not working properly.
They announced Building 7 fell 25 minutes before it did, and then lied and said this wasn't real, and then later admitted it. And then we have the up-close footage of CNN. Police saying, get back, they're going to bring it down.
You hear that? Keep your eye on that building. It'll be coming down. The building is about to blow up. Move it back. Here. All right, guys? We are looking back. There's a building about to blow up.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Well, pancaking almost like a precision implosion.
It's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
I don't want to put you on the spot here and have the black helicopters come after you, Tucker Carlson, but what do you think of that?
You know, I'm not a structural engineer. I think it's upsetting to watch it. I remember when that happened. I mean, look, I have no idea. I don't know anything. I mean, I don't understand.
Okay, so this was around 2014, I think, as it said in the clip, and you can start to see the pivot, right? It's not necessarily into full endorsement of 9/11 conspiracism, but it's into normalization. Carlson appears in friendly ecosystem-adjacent content with Alex Jones, right? The lost 2014 interview is now reposted in multiple places, and whatever the specific topics beats in that segment, the larger change is tonal. He's framed as a provocative personality who's worth hearing out. So the substance matters less here than the permission structure, right? Once you grant the audience permission to treat the conspiracies as basically legitimate, you've already done the most consequential work, because you've moved the Overton window inside the viewer's head. So, in 2014, we are fully immersed in social media culture. Facebook is the major source of news for most people, and journalists and pundits now have to contend with conspiracy theorists and grifters in a way that would seem unthinkable just a decade before. The backlash towards President Obama is extremely intense, and Tucker Carlson is beginning to find his feet in a new culture of right-wing conspiracism and hate. Tucker Carlson is now friendly with Jones and has no issue coming on his show. He's not a conspiracy theorist yet, but there is a shift. So, now we move to 2023 and onwards, where the permission phase is over. Alex Jones appears on Tucker Carlson's independent show, The Tucker Carlson Show, on December 7th, 2023. Carlson has been fired from Fox News and has a brand new show on X pushing far-right conspiracism and disinformation. Let's take a look.
Lyndon Baines Johnson administration wanted to get us into full war with Egypt, but the ship survived, became the most decorated ship in U.S. history because of the valiance of the crew. And Operation Ajax, where the CIA and Kermit Roosevelt in 1953 overthrew Mohammad Mossadegh, who was a reformist and really pro-West, but he wouldn't give them all the oil. And they used radical Islamists to overthrow him and then put the Shah in and then overthrew the Shah. Over and over again, there's just hundreds and hundreds of historical real case examples of that being done by our government and other governments. And I saw a lot of pre-programming in the news. Oh, Osama bin Laden's going to get us. When he gets us, we need to give up all of our rights, and it'll be a new America, and we've got to set up this police state. So I saw a lot of pre-programming.
But you called the specifics. You called the specifics of 9/11. I just can't get past that. And I've asked you in public and private, how did you do that? I've never gotten really a straight answer. I doubt I will now. But the fact remains, the incontrovertible fact, the provable fact that you called it, and then they began a campaign against you. And it's not because you're a racist. You've never been a racist or an anti-Semite or a crazy person, actually. You've never spewed hate. But you have, for 30 years, said the foundations of our system are actually kind of fake and rotten. But it was 9/11. That's when they really decided this guy has to be stopped and just basically eliminated the First Amendment to stop you.
Okay, so before we get going, let's just address Tucker's claim that Jones has never been, quote, crazy. Let's go through the list. Alex Jones has claimed that Sandy Hook was a hoax and the victims' families were crisis actors. He claimed that they're putting chemicals in the water that, quote, turn the friggin' frogs gay. He's a proponent of the New World Order, The idea that a globalist cabal, most likely of Jews, is secretly running world events. He called Hillary Clinton a little demon and said that elites are interdimensional demonic entities. Jones believes there is, again, an interdimensional or satanic invasion operating through political leaders. He's called major mass shootings false flags staged to justify gun control, and said that COVID was engineered or used as a tool for social control. Vaccines were part of a broader depopulation and tyranny plot. The government is orchestrating or enabling child trafficking networks as part of elite ritual abuse narratives. January 6th was another deep state ploy, and on and on and on. So, Tucker, Alex Jones is certifiably crazy. And just because a broken clock can be right twice a day doesn't make the clock accurate. And that's being very generous to Alex Jones. He's not right twice a day, ever. Anyway, so, talk about the video. So, this Tucker Carlson is now completely unrecognizable from the first video. Tucker Carlson is now hosting Alex Jones on his own show, defending him and presenting him as someone who was persecuted for telling uncomfortable truths. And the rhetorical posture that dominates the modern era is the familiar shield. I'm not saying I know what happened, I just have questions. Tucker Carlson is extremely well versed in this rhetorical trick. In reality, his stance is never neutral. It is a way to launder insinuation without ever cashing it out into falsifiable claims. The viewer is nudged towards a conclusion. The official story is a lie, right? But the host keeps deniability because he never has to present a coherent alternative account, let alone evidence strong enough to carry it. So this is the exact thing that Tucker Carlson was criticizing people like Alex Jones for 20 years ago, right? And that's why Building 7 becomes so useful. It's the smart-sounding entry point. A building fell that wasn't hit by a plane. How does that happen? It's the kind of question that feels like skepticism while functioning like an accusation. The problem is that this one has been investigated at length by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The NIST's conclusion is not mystical, and it's not because reasons. It's basic fire dynamics and structural behavior. Uncontrolled fires burned for hours, and the heat caused steel members to thermally expand. And that expansion and the resulting connection failures initiated a progressive collapse. You don't have to trust the vibes here. You can read the underlying public record, including the 9/11 Commission report and related primary documents. The conspiracist move is to treat complexity as a sort of confession, right? If a layperson can't instantly model the mechanics of high-rise fire-induced failure, then the simpler explanation must be it was demolished. But simpler to imagine doesn't mean true, right? And incredulity is not evidence. Once you see that, Tucker Carlson's transformation, it doesn't look like an intellectual journey anymore. And it looks more like a business adaptation. What do I mean by that, right? So if you go back to the early clip, Carlson is policing a norm. You don't monetize the dead by spinning evidence-free fairy tales about 9/11. But later on, the norm flips, right? The market rewards permanent suspicion and conspiracy. This is the Trump era. The incentives of independent right-wing media, subscription platforms, direct-to-audience monetization, lots and lots of merchandise, supplements, the favor content that keeps the audience in a state of grievance and outrage. The phrase "just asking questions" is perfect for that environment because it turns criticism into proof of persecution. And if you challenge the insinuation, you're accused of shutting down curiosity and thereby confirming the so-called cover-up. So the normies, like sensible journalists and normal people, can never, ever win. So this is why I don't buy into the idea that this is Tucker Carlson now clearly seeing what's really happening, or rethinking, or just following the evidence. Early Tucker Carlson, 2005, 2006 Tucker Carlson, demanded proof from the accusers. Late era Tucker Carlson now monetizes the same suspicion that he once dismissed and derided. He doesn't need to prove a controlled demolition to make a boatload of cash from implying one. He just needs to keep the viewers feeling like they're getting a taste of the forbidden fruit, where everybody else is too brainwashed and too cowardly or too corrupt to look. But let's just call this what it is. It's a naked grift. 9/11 questions aren't being asked by people like Tucker Carlson to get answers. We know the answers already. We've read the reports. Report after report after report by scientists, engineers, and commissions have found no conspiracy about Building 7 or anything else. Tucker Carlson is just asking questions to keep his rabid audience perpetually activated. Because in the age of Trump, conspiracy is not a fringe hobby. It's a currency. And to Tucker Carlson, an extremely profitable revenue model. So, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It makes sure we don't get downgraded in the algorithm, and you'll be able to see more from us in the future. Thanks so much for listening. See you soon.